I'm Adrien Cotton. I'm here to teach you a little news about exercise, and that is that you can absolutely achieve your goals for fitness and for wellness and for health and for longevity with 5 minutes at a time, as opposed to what we've been sold for so many years, that you need to get in a workout and you need to sweat until you're dripping and you need to feel taxed and strenuous. It's just not true. If you spend 5 minutes several times through the day, 10 minutes several times through the day, moving your body in a way that it likes to move, it is far more beneficial because it's far more achievable. So I've created for you a 5-minute flow. One of my favorite forms of movement is to move for 5 minutes continuously without touching the timer. So we set our timers for 5 minutes, and during that 5 minutes, we proceed through a round of movements. And the ones I'm going to show you today should feel super simple because I've added in holding onto a wall, using a chair or a bench, and use anything you need to feel the movement where it's intended, which is ultimately the goal of my program. I want you to feel this where it's intended, not necessarily to complete the movement as prescribed. So here we go. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to keep you posted. You might want to get yourself ready. As you can see, I'm in work clothes. You can be in fitness clothes. You can even do this after you awaken in the morning with your PJs on. So I'm going to set my timer now, and we're going to start with standing on one leg. So you might want to find yourself closer to a wall or a chair, and that is perfectly fine. And for each one of these movements, I'm going to show you what we call progressions. So you're either going to complete the movement as I'm prescribing, or you're going to modify it how I show you, or you can make it more advanced. Okay, so we're going to stand on one leg. You can hold on to the wall if you wish, and I am going to start my timer now. We're going to stand on our right leg, and you're going to stand like so. So if you'd hold on to a wall or a chair, it's fine. What I really like to teach is that we bring this other leg up here, because what this does is it gives us this little tuck of our pelvis, and it helps us generate some tension in our core. Slight hip hinge, so I'm pushing my body back a little bit, and I've softened my knees. I'm really pushing my toes into the floor, and I'm simply holding. Modified would be to hold on to something the whole time, okay? As prescribed, you're here. If you want to make it more advanced, you are welcome to do foot or leg kicks, or move your arms. The faster and more vigorously you move your arms, you could do both at the same time. The more challenging, the more you're going to get your heart rate elevated, okay? In about 5 seconds, we're going to move to your left side and left side. Hold on to the wall. Get yourself set up perfectly first. So again, see how I'm shifting my hips back. I'm sitting the weight of my body, the load of my body, into this part of my body, which is going to automatically utilize my core, which is what we're ultimately always trying to get to, right? Better for our health, better for our bodies. So you're going to stand here like so. Modified, hold on to a wall or a chair. More advanced, you can do kicks. You can kick back, side, forward. You can move your arms. When we put our arms overhead, it tends to elevate our heart rate a little bit more. So if you want a really good movement, you want to get it a little bit more of a challenge here, this will get you going. And it doesn't matter how fit you are, this gets the heart rate elevated, I promise. 5 seconds left. Move the arms. Now we're going to come down. We're going to do sideways shifts, sideways steps. So this is, you can go back and forth if you have limited space at your desk or in your home, back and forth. Moving sideways is really good for us to do. We tend to not obviously do it much through the day, but it's incredibly beneficial for your brain and for your health. And because we don't do it very often, it's challenging. The heart rate goes up. So keep those hips hinged back like so, chest up, feet grounded on the floor, and step side to side. Nice and paced. You have 20 seconds left. As you can see, I'm doing 1 minute per movement, which is not incredibly easy. It can be quite a challenge. And it also shows you how much strength training can truly get your cardiovascular system energized. You don't have to always do the traditional cardio movements. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get up and down from the floor. So you can sit on a step or a chair and get yourself down to the floor, however is comfortable. Or if your knees and your hips and your ankles are feeling really good, you can go down crisscross applesauce and come up crisscross applesauce, okay? You can step back with a nice 90-degree angle, like so. Put the other knee down, shift your hips to the side, come back up. We've got 20 seconds left. The goal is to do this without holding on to something stable, but if today you need to do that today, that's fine. You can progress up to picking your hands up off the floor. Start with one hand and then take both hands off the floor and stand up. The last movement is really going to get your heart rate elevated. It is bouncing. So I'm barely even allowing my toes to lift off the floor. As you can see, I'm landing into my hips. My breathing, I'm trying to keep my breathing as best I can into my nose. But at this point, I've been doing this for about 4.5 minutes. It would not be surprising if your heart rate were elevated and you needed to open up your mouth a bit. But pay attention to your breathing. Make sure you're taking long, deep breaths instead of short ones solely out of your mouth. As much as you can, you want to close that mouth. The more vigorously you move your arms, like so, and even overhead, the more you're going to elevate your heart rate. You could also go side to side, or you can march if you're feeling like this is the right place for you. Okay, we have been going for 5 minutes. That is the 5-minute flow for you at your office or at your home where you're working now. And it gives you 5 minutes of movement. And then you go back to doing your work. And obviously you can return to it later and do it as many times through the day as you can find time. Thanks so much for your time. Can't wait to see you soon.